It's stupid.
It's pointless.
It's irrelevant.
It's Things That Matter with Mike and Nev. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's Things That Matter with Mike and Nev. I'm Nevin Barrage, and he's Michael Feldman. Things That Matter with Mike and Nev can be found exclusively on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Things That Matter with Mike and Nev. Mike came across an article recently about the board game Monopoly and how there's new Monopoly house rules. Now, break this down for me, because this always confused me. Monopoly is the only board game where essentially you can play with different rules, different ideas. It varies from household to household,
right,
city to city, country to country. I mean, what is it? Why can't Monopoly just be Monopoly?
It's a weird thing. I feel like the thing with Monopoly is that as a just base game, right, it's flawed. It's, you know,
how
like,
so?
Well, because what can happen is you can get to a situation where it just goes on and on and on and on,
okay,
right? Because people sort of get a combination, you know, like there can be, certain people can have this many hotels, then that many hotels or whatever, and it just sort of becomes a stalemate. Like, you know those things where you can play Monopoly and it takes like a day to finish, and everybody gets frustrated, and it's like, okay.
But can't you like negotiate with one another?
Yeah.
Like if you have part of a hotel or a Monopoly, and I have the other part, we can negotiate a trade or something. So there is that element.
And this is the funny thing to this. I once actually watched, I didn't take part in it, but I watched a professional Monopoly tournament happening. I'm totally serious, completely serious.
How did this work?
It was at a gaming convention that my dad and I went to. I was a kid.
Okay, wait, very quick question.
Yes.
All men, right?
Oh,
of course. Okay, just get it out there. Okay.
All men, and I mean, I hate to do stereotypes here, but all men, and let's just say not the skinniest men of all time either.
Yeah.
I
got the picture. I got the picture. Okay, all right.
They were all sweethearts.
Okay,
Don't get me wrong.
I'm sure they're nice guys.
Nothing against anybody.
Okay.
But what happened was, what was great was, this game, my friend who was at the convention with me was just decided to do it. Okay. Just for fun. All right. It was the most brutal thing I've seen in like a gaming situation. Right. These guys, like, so, you know, it's like my friend and like 5 other people or whatever in the first round, and these like 3 guys just ganged up and negotiated. This is completely legal in professional Monopoly, and just took my friend out. I think it took like 10 minutes.
They were colluding.
Or 15. Completely
I hate that. That's it.
Like if he landed on any...
That's not in the Monopoly American spirit. But now you have these house rules... Well, you have these house rules now. I guess what happened was people can vote on the house rules. Yes. It was like a kind of contest with Hasbro.
Yeah, it's like on Facebook or something.
And so like now when you land on free parking, you get all the money from like the taxes, and they do not let go and blah, blah, blah. Right. You can't buy properties or you can't collect money when you're in jail. Right. There's one rule I did like, was you had to go around the board one time, everybody, before you can start buying properties. That rule I actually liked.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was into that rule.
Yeah, that's a good rule.
I'll tell you something I always could not stand when playing Monopoly with people, is people would negotiate. Okay, Mike, if you're going to give me Boardwalk, but if you land on Boardwalk, you know, you're exempt from paying for the first, 4 or 5 times. I hate that. That drives me crazy. You once you buy the property, that's it. Right. None of this like like you have this 10-year tax exemption.
Well, Boardwalk is a huge investment.
It's huge.
It's like,
doesn't it cost, you have to...
I forget what it is.
Well, it's $400 to buy it. Right. And then isn't it like... $200 per house.
Yeah, probably.
So that's
huge.
4 houses. So that is a $1,400 investment and that's just for Boardwalk.
Right.
You got to go to Park Place. Park Place is $350, and then another $175, I think, to build things. So you're talking a nut of a good $2,500.
Right.
So how am I going to make the money back? And you don't land on Boardwalk very often. Right. So I got to recoup that money somehow. So I don't need like these tax abatements. You don't see tax abatements like in Risk. You just conquer the other countries.
See, there you go. See, you know what? We've hit on the problem.
What's the problem?
I think the problem is, for Monopoly, right? Most people think of it, you're just going around buying houses. Right? You're going around like a fake neighborhood buying houses. Okay. In Risk, you're taking over the world. Like, the stakes are different. Right. No one would cut you slack if like you're invading their country.
Exactly.
But if you're like taxing them or something, or like having them collect rent on their own. Okay.
That's actually interesting, because with Monopoly, it's you have to both beat your opponent, but you also have to negotiate with the same opponent. So you have to outmaneuver on the board, and you have to outmaneuver them on the negotiating table. No wonder they need like more house rules. This is okay. Now I understand why the fat guys in the gaming tournament were ganging up with the other fat guy and knock him out.
Basically, what we have determined is that Monopoly is more complicated than taking over the world in Risk. That it's just, I don't know. There's something off here.
Trying to house flip is more important than trying to take over, a third world country. That's what we learned here today. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Things That Matter with Mike and Nev. For Michael Feldman, I'm Nevin Barrett. It's the Things That Matter.